So there you are, fixing a generator, and out of the corner of your eye, you spot a familiar shimmer. Oh, it's the Wraith, you think, trying to get the drop on you. So, you pre-run to the nearest window or pallet for safety. But upon closer inspection, as what you thought was the Wraith is something much, much more primal, feral, and downright disturbing. Dreadfully realizing that what you are facing is the Raptor. It has you exactly where it wants you. Hello everyone, well, happy Dino Week. Ever wonder what a Dino or Jurassic World chapter would look like? What would the killer be? What would you like to see in such a chapter? Would it really fit Dead by Daylight? Let's get right into it. Off the bat, I think it's safe to say that there has to be a Dino killer chapter, assuming it's from the Jurassic franchise. That would either have to be a Raptor or the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Either would be great, but here in this video, I'm going to go into how the Indoraptor may check out most of those boxes and have it potentially seen in Dead by Daylight. As much as I would love a original Dino killer, which allows for more creative freedom and impose changes quicker, it just makes more practical sense lore-wise and mechanically to adapt it into the world of Dead by Daylight and bring players in due to that strong brand recognition. But it is what it is. But in case you need a reminder, the Indoraptor, a hybrid of the Indominus Rex from the first Jurassic World movie, and a Velociraptor. Its name literally meaning indomitable, fierce, untamable thief. Exhibiting cunning and sadistic behavioral traits, it derives pleasure not only from hunting for food, but also for engaging in a playful torment of its prey, before delivering the final lethal blow. However, a significant distinction between the Indominus and the Indoraptor. The Indominus acted out of neglected circumstances. The Indoraptor endured explicit mistreatment throughout its life, aimed at intensifying its predatory instincts. This suggests that the Indoraptor's inclination to kill may have been a result for deliberate conditioning rather than mere sporting behavior, which is nothing short of perfect for the team behavior to implement seamlessly into Dead by Daylight. As much as I would love to have a T-Rex one-shotting and performing instant MORIs on survivors, it may need a little bit of a balance change. So instead, I'm going to focus on what I would like to see in a chapter and what others have suggested. In addition, I'd love to see what you have to say in the comments below. Get into it. Does the Jurassic franchise fit into DBD? Is it horror? Absolutely. Though not from a horror franchise per se, the context in which these raptors, or really any lethal dinosaur, is given screen time is very much in a context where horror elements and themes are in full display. So going off the movies alone demonstrate that the Raptors and Indoraptor are cunning, vicious, relentless pursuers. This is even amplified when we're talking about a horrid abomination that is literally genetically made for war. The original source material depicts that dinosaurs big and small, not only killing humans, but implying greater dread on how brutal these animals can be in the eyes of the characters. Though a predatory animal being the normal raptor, the Indoraptor, undoubtedly an intelligent monster with malicious intent, and a primal need to kill for what humans have inflicted upon it, fits just like Demogorgon or Xenomorph. It just clicks. It sounds perfect. Lastly, to make up for any loose ends, most if not all franchise characters in DBD are modified as to how they arrived in the trials in the entity's realm, usually a different timeline or at a certain point in their respective stories. So it's not a stretch to imagine the entity taking this genetic abomination during or just before the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I mean, come on, look at this thing. The map or the realm? This will be rather short. As for the map, if we were to get a map or a realm, I would imagine that they could finally use this opportunity to rework Swamp, or maybe make an addition to it like they did with McMillan with Skull Merchant. It could be the original visitor center in the first movie. It could be an abandoned version we see in Jurassic World. or an abandoned engine facility. Really, as long as it nailed the atmosphere of a downtrodden theme park left in ruin after something has gone horribly wrong as the result of the dinos getting free, we should be pretty good to go. But let me know what you think. I'm not too sure here. Survivors. Honestly, when it comes to the survivor or survivors of the chapter, I'm not too sure. I'm not really picky here. Honestly, get me in there with old man John Hammond, looping superhuman Wesker, Kane and all. We should be good to go. Could be anyone from the original franchise or Jurassic World. I'd be okay. I'm not picky. Therefore, I could see Behavior selling skins and cosmetics anyway of the various other characters, like Alan Grant or Dr. Malcolm, like they did with Silent Hill or Resident Evil, so there's really no complaints there. What they could do very easily, simple, and could totally see happening is Jurassic Park t-shirts. They did it for the casting of Frank Stone and FNAF. Literally perfect. Could not, it's perfect. Maybe get some more dino outfits like they gave for Dwight. Maybe get my Hattie in a little purple Triceratops costume. That'd be cool. Maybe give Houndmaster a Raptor Tamer. Maybe make her Raptor Tamer. That'd be kind of cool. Change out Snug for a Raptor. Could be kind of sick. As for the Survivor perks, I'm not too sure what the Survivor perks could be, but I have a few ideas. I would imagine it'd be something that it would encourage high-risk plays or utilizing stealth to avoid the killer. I mean, you don't want to be in front of a dinosaur, right? But rewarded for it, perhaps. Maybe using something like distortion, like it is for Jeff. You earn some tokens and you get a reward somehow, right? You know, similar to Jurassic Park 3, when the raptors are deterred by tear gas, right? Maybe we can finally get that craftable smoke bombs the devs have used in 2v8 in the Halloween events. Could be kind of see. But let me know what you think. I couldn't think of what I would come up here that would fit so seamlessly, but see what you guys think.
You can't hold a raptor in a closet. They're too smart.
Now, what I really wanted to talk about was the power. The Indoraptor's power or the Raptor's power. What should it be? What can it be? So I will be skipping any add-ons here in parks because I'm not too sure. I'll leave that up. But the power, I think, is what I really like to see, as it has to be somewhat reminiscent of how Raptors, or really just the Indoraptor, acts on the silver screen and how it's translated over to gameplay and mechanics. That being what I would propose: speed, stealth, and a pounce. There has to be a pounce. I like to have a very skillful expression when I'm playing killer. It's a nice feedback loop I quite enjoy. So it's why I play a mechanically driven character like Huntress or Xenomorph, among others, you know, for those skill shots. It's fun. So having a pounce to time on a survivor would be perfect. So what sort of pounce would it be? I'm not entirely sure. I do have a few options I'm going to present. It could either be a flat horizontal pounce like Demogorgon. 2, a vertical arching power like Victor. Or a third option, that honestly may be a tad much, a pounce that allows you to jump over walls onto survivors. You know, as long as it feels rewarding to hit as a killer and exciting to dodge as a survivor would be the ideal outcome of the power. There are a little bit of a shortcomings for each. The first being, for the first power, the first option feels too safe and would be kind of not enjoyable on top of it being a reused power, you know, further diminishing Demogorgon as is. The second option sounds a little more exciting, but considering the plethora of issues and bugs that Victor still has today, interacting with all the clutter in the game, count me out, no thank you. The third option for jumping over, maybe the most exciting in terms of shaking out the gameplay and having survivors look up for a change, might be fun, but could encounter some of the same issues as Victor, but I'm not too sure. I have seen some other examples of it maybe being a tier system like it is for Myers, where the distance in which you pounce is increased per tier. It feels a little antiquated, but I'm open to it. Another would just be Legion 2.0, where when you pounce on a survivor, they go into deep wound. Maybe you gain more speed. Who knows? I'm not too sure. But let me know what you think there. Not too sure. Stealth. Here's the thing about stealth, and I'll keep this very short as well. There has to be some sort of stealth. It can either be a few options, a conventional terror radius off button like Ghostface does, and maybe no indicator, maybe stealth with an indicator like Chucky does when he goes into hidey ho, the complete invisibility exclusive to Wraith currently, or what I would propose, I think would be kind of interesting, or might cause problems, maybe a partial or chameleon-like camouflage. Or up close, you could tell it's camouflage, but at a distance, it'd be a little harder to tell. To kind of play on those stealth elements and keep survivors aware, keep them on their toes. Speed. This is arguably one of the most, if not the most important aspect of a dino killer. Would have to be speed, or at least short bursts of it. Seeing as you never can outrun a raptor, catching a survivor out in the open could prove potentially devastating for them. I would love to see some sort of tackle or quote-unquote soft pounce like Demo can, maybe, like I said with this.
He made her again.
If they were to, say, drop a pallet mid-chase, perhaps the raptor can simply crawl or vault over it and just keep going. Could be kind of cool. All this would tie into something to where you are on the prowl, you're looking around, maybe you're looking for survivors, maybe there's a scent, and the survivors have to stay out of your way, right? I'm not too sure in terms of balance how fun it would be to play against this killer. I could not say, but what I do know is that some sort of interactivity between the survivors and the killer needed, maybe perhaps some barricades or something survivors can put as a side objective to fight back against the raptor could be kind of interesting. However, I'll leave the gameplay decisions in that respect to the devs. I think it'd just be kind of cool to just prowl around, pounce on survivors with maybe a skillful shot, and when you're in chase, you're just an unstoppable killing machine, perhaps. And you just keep going, right? But I'm not too sure. I'll let you guys think. Moving on to some of the smaller things. How would the dino carry the survivor? I'm not too sure. The logistics here are odd, because if they were having a raptor put a survivor on a hook kind of breaks the illusion, so maybe I suspect they do it by either dragging the survivor by the head like they did with Mr. Udetsky in Jurassic Park 3, which I would imagine would be an animation nightmare. Or the more likely option, that you could just have the survivor be picked up by the torso, kind of by the jaws of the raptor, right? Sort of how Nemesis does when he's holding a survivor, right, off to his side. I'm not too sure. It could be really cool if pulled off in such a manner, or really at all. But who knows? Maybe they'll just TP the survivor, like they did in 2v8. Maybe they might just have other raptors just take them away to a hook. I don't know. However, the MORI, on the other hand, there's so many good choices for the MORI. From the movies alone, that would be kind of hard to choose. But I think a safe and good choice would be recreating the cage scene from the movie from Fallen Kingdom would be great. Maybe keep it simple. Go for a pounce and tear into the survivor like Kaneki or Demo does. It's got to be visceral, though. It's got to be visceral, fairly quick to demonstrate the raw genetic power of this utterly abominable killing machine. All in all, it's all just speculation and hopes that it will happen. Many players, even the devs, during a recent interview, expressed great interest in the idea. I am hopeful that maybe later this year we'll get a Dino chapter, but I can only hope, as nothing is really confirmed. Unrelated, but maybe all of that of which I mentioned could happen, or maybe just for us Dino fans, maybe for Capcom could just remaster Dino Crisis and collab with Behavior to make a cosmetic collection. Capcom, you have it right there, Capcom, with 2 Resident Evil chapters. I digress, but it's not relevant. Nevertheless, the power and the gameplay of the Raptor has been drawn up by many passionate few online. The credit for them are down below, as they were essential in making this video. If any of them see this, thank you so much for your hard work. Remember to have fun out there. Happy Dino Week, and goodbye.